Throughout the course of the American Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln was both blessed and cursed by a variety of leaders that served under his command. But in the Eastern Theater of the war, at the beginning of the conflict, things didn't necessarily get off to a great start for him. This is all rooted in the Union defeat at the Battle of First Bull Run, where the Northern troops under the command of General Irvin McDowell were soundly defeated and routed all the way back to the capital city. This defeat in part gave rise to one of the most prominent leaders in the Union Army of the Potomac, General George B. McClellan, known as the Young Napoleon, or Little Mac, in a beloved nature by his men who had great affection for this general. In the summer of 1862, McClellan attempted to capture the Confederate capital of Richmond, Virginia, but there he was driven back. Later that summer, under the command of General John Pope, the Union Army suffered another major defeat, this time at Manassas once again, thus leading to the return of George McClellan as the commander of the Union Army. And in this capacity, he would take his army to Sharpsburg, Maryland, where they would engage in the deadliest fight, the deadliest day of the American Civil War, at the Battle of Antietam. Although this strategic victory gave Lincoln political leverage to release a preliminary version of his Emancipation Proclamation, he was nevertheless frustrated by McClellan's seemingly cautious nature. So once again, McClellan was out. And in came General Ambrose Burnside. Lincoln had high hopes for General Burnside, but he too met defeat at the Battle of Fredericksburg in December of 1862. As did his successor at the Battle of Chancellorsville in May 1863. Things were looking very bleak for the Union Army in the Eastern Theater. But things took a turn that summer when a Pennsylvanian by the name of General George Gordon Meade took command of the Union Army of the Potomac. And here at Gettysburg, in this farmhouse, he made one of the most important command decisions of his life that ultimately gave him a huge victory here on Northern soil. In the Western Theater of the war, Union forces are meeting success, but they're meeting it a little bit earlier. And this is in large part due to the cunning leadership of General Ulysses S. Grant. Grant scores a number of victories for the North throughout this time, including Fort Henry and Fort Donelson, the Battle of Shiloh, Champion Hill, Vicksburg, and Chattanooga. Grant's success in the West will ultimately lead to his promotion as overall commander of all Union forces. At this time, Ulysses Grant is working with a number of generals and developing partnerships with them. These include notable leaders such as William Tecumseh Sherman, who will lead his famous March to the Sea in 1864, and also Philip H. Sheridan, a cavalryman who will lead his infamous raids into the Virginia's Shenandoah Valley, also in 1864. Other notable leaders in the Western Theater of the conflict include General George H. Thomas, known as the Rock of Chickamauga for his firm stand at that battle. They also include William Rosecrans and Henry Halleck. So, as Grant took command, he had capable commanders in both the Eastern and the Western Theater of the war. In the East, he has General George Meade directing the Union Army of the Potomac, while out west, William Tecumseh Sherman is directing several Union armies in their campaigns against Confederate forces. Whether these Union leaders fought in Virginia or Tennessee, their collective efforts ultimately helped batter the Confederacy into submission and helped preserve the United States.